Welcome to Instant Discussions, episode 55, most likely. Probably. 55, unless there's any argument of that.
You have a beanie.
What? Yeah. We're discussing the Boondock Saints.
Indeed has a beanie.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the Boondocks,
Ah,
the
shit.
popular TV series.
Damn.
You watched the wrong thing again.
Yeah, with the little black kids.
Yeah.
I heard that was good though. It's a really
This
good.
does not have nearly as many black people in it. It's from
It
1999.
does not have any
I
black
don't think
people.
there's any black people.
This movie was written and directed by Troy
Troy
Duffy,
Duffy.
as the credits say multiple times.
AKA huge douchebag.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll talk more about that a little later. Steffan, this was your pick.
Yeah.
Have you seen this one before, Tony?
Oh yeah.
All right. So we've all seen this one before. We were all very familiar with the Boondock Saints. Should probably say we had to switch this one. You may be confused
That's
if
for-
you watched Buried. If you're one of those people who watches our episodes in order. Last week we said we were going to watch Buried. We were very excited, and then we realized they took it off of Netflix.
Like-
Instant Watch.
Not even like the next couple days they took it off. Like
Yeah.
right after I said it. So
Yeah. So
I don't think you check.
switched over to the Boondock Saints.
I went on like right as I told you what it was because you asked me like what was the movie again. And I was just like I typed it too and then I went on to check it and I was like oh it's not even here anymore.
Yeah. So, luckily we have this one in the back pocket. A good one as well. A good one to talk about at least. So, first impressions of the film, you'll have to look back to when you first saw this. I first saw this in 2005. I looked it up on the Netflix DVD queue history. So 2005 is when I first saw it. I know at that time I was watching I had just started getting Netflix and was really into watching a ton of films that especially had big cult followings. So I know that I loved this movie at the time. I was very excited with it. What were your first thoughts on this
Well,
movie?
the first time I watched it on VHS a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was just like,
What was
this is the
VHS?
most amazing.
You're gonna confuse some of our audience. I
Yeah.
think they're gonna be wondering what VHS is.
It's that not the movie VHS, not that horror film. This is
No.
this little cassette, this tape, like black
Still,
black
I'm
box.
not sure still.
Little black rectangle that had this tape inside of it, and if you pulled the tape out, you could never watch the movie again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you taped it.
And you had to rewind
Yeah.
and fast forward.
But it was like, I remember watching it and I was like, this is so amazing. And I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't quite as good
It's
as when I remember a long time ago.
on the second viewing, not quite
No,
like
no,
yeah,
well-
because you haven't. Well, I hadn't seen it since then.
Yeah.
Since my first time.
I watched it
watching
like 18 times the first time
Yeah.
around, and then I hadn't watched it in
I had to
years.
at least have seen
Yeah,
it.
it's the
I know
same.
I watched the commentaries on everything
Uh-huh.
back then, especially. So I would have had to have seen it at least twice.
I think I watched it in like 2000. When did this come out?
1999. You could have seen
Okay.
it 2000 on VHS. That was 1990, 2000 was around when DVDs started coming out, but this film probably was just on VHS at the time.
So yeah, I loved every single moment of it. It was amazing, and I still enjoyed it.
yeah.
How about you? First time watching that?
I really, really, really loved the film the first time I watched it, and it feels like it's the same kind of feeling between the three of us, maybe, where we watched it a bunch, like we watched it and we're like, oh, we gotta watch that again, like soon after, and then we watched it one or two more times or a few more times.
And you want to show all your friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Well, yeah, all my friends were talking about this movie
Yeah,
already, or
that's-
I don't know if I had seen it first, or some of my friends had told me about it. I don't know how I came on about it. I looking at the queue, all the ones I watched around that were like Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and then Boondock Saints. Like I was watching a lot of that kind of movie at the time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that independent spirit with a lot of gunplay and stuff. So I haven't seen that film since then. Now, have you by chance watched the documentary called Overnight?
Yep.
Have you?
no,
See that documentary gives you a completely different perspective on this movie. So I
You're
had
the writer and director.
yeah, it's a documentary about Troy Duffy, who wrote and directed this movie, and how terrible of a person he is. Because he wrote the script, and does it tell you how much in this article have I mentioned got paid? I mean, we can talk some more about it in the extended. Let's just say we'll go into more of Troy Duffy and how that can affect your viewing of this film.
yeah,
I forgot when I watched it, but I watched the documentary a while ago, and I was like, I was turned off to the film.
Yeah,
I
did not want to watch the film again.
I was like, oh god.
But it's so. By the time I started rewatching the film now, as it started playing, it looked familiar, but I didn't remember it at all. So
you know what it reminds me of? When you watch the Kim Kardashian sex tape, and then you hear her talk and stuff, and then you can't really watch it again, and you're like, oh god.
Probably.
Same exact thing.
So anyway,
Just throwing that.
so watching it again, it was like watching it for the first time because I really didn't remember it at all. It had been so long since I'd watched it, and you watch so many movies in between. It didn't stick in my mind as much. Like elements of it stuck in my mind about like the way they killed and the.
I remember.
Yeah.
And there were things like that I would remember.
I remember the pennies in the eyes. I remember the way they killed, and that's what stuck in my mind.
And I did remember how shitty the wig is on the gangster in that hotel, like 9 people that they killed.
Oh, the Russian guy?
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah. So
I thought it was funny.
favorite parts of the movie?
My favorite part is probably is always when Willem Dafoe's character, can't remember his name right now. Willem Dafoe's character.
When he becomes a chick?
No. Earmuffs or the earbuds.
The earbuds
when
in
and he'll just
his
go
little
around and
Walkman
like looking around.
CD
and he has
player.
this, like,
I thought those were
so
earrings.
meticulously like.
He has this little Walkman CD player, which is like an iPod, which is like an iPhone. It played digital music, but on a disc, and he had it like that. So, like, if someone were to run into him, it would skip.
His analysis of like the crime scenes and then like it kind of like flashing back to what had happened while it's happening just around him. I
Yeah,
thought that was really cool.
it's a thing that now you see on TV all the time. It's become a standard in crime shows of the, this guy looking is like, this is how it happened. It happened. He's telling the story of the crime scene. I don't know if I doubt this was the first place that happened, but it's that thing that now you see in all the crime shows. But it's fun watching it. William Dafoe has a very interesting character.
You know what it reminds me of? Pulp Fiction, when they had it out of sequence, and then you start seeing other stuff totally out of sequence. And everybody goes, "Oh, it's like Pulp Fiction." That's what it kind of reminds me of. Even though it wasn't the first one, it's kind of like
it had the same kind of vibe to it in a lot of ways, especially the lightheartedness of the people who are doing the killing. You mix that with the seriousness of the killing.
Funny guy.
Funny man.
That joke was pretty good, huh, Tony? That's what you're laughing about.
I want to yell something, but I'm not gonna.
No.
I guess I'll respect. Because Martin Luther King Day was just Monday, 2 days ago.
Oh, now you dated our podcast.
Oh.
Thanks a lot.
I mean,
The video.
it's coming out.
Remember? No.
Oh, wait.
We're not going to go back in time here.
I'm confused.
You're talking about, a few weeks ago.
Right?
Yeah. 2
Yeah.
days ago.
Sure. I don't know. The part that stuck in my mind was the way they did the killing in the kind of spiritual way. What I think I like about this movie a lot is the idea behind the Saints in the same way of watching Dexter now.
Yeah.
It's that idea of people killing the bad guys, and then Willem Dafoe has to go through that moral conflict as a cop.
Righteousness.
Yeah, and he has to understand. He has to say, I know that by the law this is wrong.
Like except when he's confessing.
Yeah, in that confession scene, and that confession scene is great with that, although done very oddly. But it's the great argument. Is this okay? And then he goes on and continues to help them with it. But I like that. I like that what it brings up in there. So it's not just showing people killing, in crazy ways. It's they're killing and they're having fun with it, but they're on a mission. They're on a mission from God. They're killing the bad people.
Yeah.
And helping them with that. How about you? Favorite part of the movie?
I had just kind of couple of quick favorite parts. At the beginning, when he just decks the woman, that was hilarious. Doesn't care. And then when William Dafoe is like with the gay guys and he's like calling them fags and they get all weirded out. That was pretty funny. And then I just like
He's a very homophobic gay man.
Yeah. And then I just like the scenes, the killing scenes.
Mm-hmm.
For my not like, before I forget, I could not stand the very end when they were videotaping or the news report.
Oh, that was
the corniest.
very corny.
Like everything was all the way good up till
Horrible
that.
acting.
Then it's like, oh man, those are some bad guys. And I was like, oh god, that had to be all their friends, like who couldn't be in the movie or something. It was horrible.
Yeah, it seemed like that.
They weren't good actors.
It did seem that part reminded me a lot of the part in Clerks where they're saying the customers that they don't like and they jump to the video of the customers. But that stuff was like campy. This stuff was just
campy,
cheesy, terrible acting at the end of this like powerful film.
And he did this horrible push, like stop it. And I was like, what the hell?
It was bad. I've got to say that's probably
It
what
was well executed.
It was well executed, but it wasn't at all.
I get where they're trying to go. And actually, at the end of Avengers, they have the same thing where they're interviewing people on the streets and they're showing that. Like, that's the correct way
that was a lot better.
because they actually have good actors that you're going to say, no, let's do that again. Let's do another take on that. And unlike this version. So it's like an interesting idea, but not executed well. There were a couple of moments in this that I felt were just not executed well, and the scene that you were talking about at the beginning where they deck the girl who's and they're the way that scene is done and like the way she talks about the rule of thumb, like I love the content of it, but the way it's executed, especially looking back on it now, it just seems like this scene that the writer is so excited, like, yeah, this is such a well-written scene, and then the way it comes across on screen just looks like this pretentious scene that's just too well crafted.
I was gonna say it was probably written well. I don't think that the lesbian chick pulled it.
No,
I think
I don't think she pulled it off. It just didn't come off well.
Because when he hits hit with the meat and they're messing around, I believe that all the way up to like
that looks fine.
Rule of thumb.
There's a couple times in the movie where that happens where it seems like the scene is really well crafted and they thought of this, they're like, this is gonna be perfect, but it's so hyper real that when they execute it, it doesn't get executed properly and it falls short.
Like Ivan, he was way too corny Russian.
Yeah. I
am Russian. And I was like,
there's a few incidents. It's just like it doesn't seem real and just the right way, where it kind of pulls you out of that. And there were a few moments like that I didn't remember, but
they either didn't make it real enough, or they didn't make it like campy enough. Or whatever.
Yeah. It either had to be like the whole movie could have been campy, but because the movie gets like so serious in certain parts of it, and becomes this heavy topic. Only $6 million, which is it's a low budget movie.
Wow. Because some of those, it was weird. The blood looked corny, but then some of the shots looked really good.
Yeah.
Like they had little chunks coming out and stuff, but then you see just like really bright red, and you're like,
like the shirt, this bright red shirt, and like some of the parts I have the problem with is this bright red shirt, not a drop on the coat. Like it was very particular where the blood was on there. Like that's you just didn't want to get your coat dirty.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, there's some things, but it's it's an independent film. And they did it. How about you?
My least favorite.
Yeah, least favorite parts.
Part of it. Actually, while you guys were talking about it, I was trying to think of a specific item, but I'm really falling short here on coming up with one, to be honest.
Okay.
And it's not that I don't think it's that, because like I do agree with what you guys are saying, but I think it's just like, it's not that I'm finding any one thing in particular that stands out to be why it's not like an amazing film.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Okay. So now let's go to ratings then. I looked back and it had my original rating on there, which I saw, and as we were talking about when we first saw this movie, I really loved it. So I had 5 stars on there. This is a 5-star movie. Watching it again, about halfway through it, I was at 3 stars.
Oh wow.
Then I got to the end, I'm like, I really like the story of it, the way that it's done, and it impacted me more when I was younger. So I think it redeemed itself. It became better later on, especially when you get more of Willem Dafoe's character, and then you get forgetting his name now. Billy Connolly.
Yeah,
when he comes
Billy
back
Connolly.
into. So I think I'm okay with giving it 4 stars. Yeah. That's the highest I can go.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd probably be 3.5, but give it up to 4 stars. How about you?
I'd give it a 4.5. But since I would love to see another movie like this, the superhero, I would go up to 5.
You'd like to see a Boondock Saints too?
No, I've seen it. It's fucking horrible.
I don't see it.
I haven't seen it and I don't want to see it.
It's fucking
Don't see it.
horrible.
It's actually I got
It's awful.
I got this free beanie from when they premiered it. It's
Oh,
actually
really?
from
Oh, that's a shame. You got to take off the 2
the
Yeah.
Boondock Saints 2 All Saints
and
Day.
the All Saints Day.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wear it the forward way, and then you just see the one from their tattoo.
But as far as that type of vigilante and the way that the movie felt, I would give it a 5 to see another one. But I'd give it a 4.5 if I could.
Okay. How about you?
I was surprised actually because when I saw it, I had a rating of 4 on it from 4, and I would have thought that I would have given it a 5 from before.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna stand by what apparently I rated it earlier with a 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll stand by my original rating because that's how it made me feel all the time. But I don't know. I think I was not seeing it right the first time. I think 4 is much more accurate.
I think eventually. Well, I don't know if we can probably bring this up later. I'll bring it up later about the box office.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go into that. And we'll get into Troy Duffy's personality.
Or disorder.
After
After this. What's your pick for next time, Tony?
I'm picking an older movie. One of the only movie that I was on the floor laughing.
Like, wait, were you literally?
Yeah, I was on like my knees like this.
Were you already on the floor?
No,
Or
I was laughing so hard that I hunched over and I was closing my ears so I couldn't.
And you say older movie, like,
Older, yeah, it's older.
do you mean like most of the last movies
Oh,
were
it's the
picking
same
up
year as
from
this.
99?
Oh, shit.
Same year as this?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
No, that's not older.
Well, okay.
99 is not an older movie.
All right.
Especially for you, old man.
No, the movie I'm thinking is older than that. Never mind.
I was thinking like you were talking about 30s, 40s.
No.
You gotta bring up a Charlie Chaplin
I
movie.
instantly went 80 to when a movie made in 87 that's on Netflix now.
No.
Oh, that's still.
I'm going with South Park the movie.
Oh, maybe no. Correct title.
Bigger, longer, and uncut.
Thank you.
Yeah.
South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. I'm glad you picked that because I was tempted to pick that one.
I'll have quite a story for you gentlemen on that one.
Yeah, but
Alright.
it's just like I want to see if it like stands up with you guys.
Okay.
I was literally on the.
We'll get into that one. It'll
I think
be
we've
interesting
all-
for me
we've all
to.
seen it.
It'll be interesting for me to rewatch it because I've only seen it about every month since it came out. So, well, we'll talk about that next week.
I have the whole movie. Like I could just start.
Really?
We
you know.
we
Holy
could reenact
crap.
the whole movie. Yes. Okay.
This
Well,
would be interesting.
that'll be an interesting one. We'll talk about that. We'll have some fun next week. Thanks for watching. Continue or go on and click onto the other video if you want to listen to us say terrible things about a man that we don't even know. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.